In today's video, we are diving into one of the most important and honestly, one of the most misunderstood topics in UK immigration right now, which is sponsor license rejections. If you're a business owner, HR manager, or someone working in hospitality, IT, or construction, you have probably noticed something very worrying. The Home Office is rejecting more and more sponsor license applications than ever before. Applications that were approved easily a few years ago are now being refused. Businesses are getting compliance visits out of nowhere. And companies that desperately need staff are too scared to even apply. Why is this rejection rate increasing so sharply in 2025? And most importantly, is it still possible to get a sponsor license in the current climate? To answer all this, I have invited a very special guest, Amil from Mac25, one of the leading experts in UK business immigration and sponsor license compliance. Together, we'll be breaking down number one, top 5 reasons why sponsor license applications fail today. Number 2, the biggest mistakes companies make, especially small businesses. Number 3, whether hospitality, IT, and construction firms still stand a chance. Number 4, what documents you must prepare before applying. Number 5, the genuineness test and why most companies fail it. Number 6, what happens after a rejection and when can you reapply. Number 7, and what exactly the Home Office looks for during compliance audits. If your company is planning to apply for a sponsor license or if you're worried about the rising rejection rate, this video could literally save you thousands of pounds and months of delays. So stay tuned, watch this episode till the end and let's get the truth directly from the expert himself.
Hi Sarika, this is the old Mohammad Amil from Mac25 London.
Still young.
Still young,
Yeah.
an ex-international student, happy to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Having an immigration law firm based in Canary Wharf, London and helping all your audiences.
Awesome. Thanks, Amil. So today's topic is top 5 reasons for UK sponsor license rejection. So we'll talk about many details around it. We have done previously some videos around sponsor license, but this is more like a follow-up based on the questions and more inquiries that I have received or you have received so that it can help our audience better.
Exactly.
So my first question to you is, why is Home Office rejecting more sponsor license applications in 2025?
I think the Home Office is scrutinizing all the companies based in the UK. Okay, what I'm feeling is that the Home Office has come down to a conclusion that not every company is genuine enough at this point of time. Okay, irrespective of the industries you come from, irrespective of the amount you have in your business bank account or any of these things, it only comes down to a specific thing, whether your business is genuinely trading or not. So there are few businesses we have seen in the past, they just apply, register a company, get a business bank account and just apply for the license and they don't use it well. So Home Office wants to make sure that's the reason we are having so many crackdowns, that companies are not trading well. The contracts and whatever money they have got in the account is not genuine enough. They don't have HRAs, and obviously you might be asking me all these questions down the line. But as overall approach, it's all about the genuineness criteria, what the company needs to follow.
Okay. So do companies need to trade from the day one when they apply for the license? Or if they have enough money in the bank account, is that not enough?
See, it depends from company and industry to industries. It's not, and for the fact, I would say there are so many companies, IT companies I have applied for the license for, they didn't even started trading. Okay. But they had, good investment from investors and from authorizing officers and the directors who pumped in the money from the different businesses. Because when you start an IT company, you might not be able to get the client contracts from day one.
True.
If you are able to justify to the Home Office whatever money you guys have pumped in and you disclose the sources of funds from wherever the money has come into and you're able to, satisfy the Home Office requirements, then the trading is not an issue. Sponsor license is always, people need to understand, if you want to employ somebody in your company on a skilled job, that's the reason you apply for the license. Okay. Home Office always says it's a privilege. It will be different for different companies and different industries. But trading is not something I'm looking for. I'm looking for the genuineness criteria, whether they are meeting that or not. So one of my client, not trading, they got investment from the company and they got the sponsor license. Obviously, they had the pre-license compliance and the interviews and those sorts of things. But trading is something which is related to your client contracts. You could be building your in-house product as well. So it differs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the day you apply for your license, it basically means you're ready to sponsor someone. That's why you are applying, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And especially immigrants, either they are, say, in the UK or outside UK.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So from your experience and the clients that you are dealing with or dealt with, what are the top 5 common reasons why UK sponsor license application failed today? What have you seen? Can you discuss that with us today?
In the last 3 months, it has changed. Okay. The chronology have completely changed. Before I used to say money, the finance, but now number one reason why the client's license are getting refused or rejected is because of the authorizing officer. That's the number one reason. Because before it used to happen that your HR system is not good, you don't have enough money in the account to trade. But now the authorizing officer is failing to justify how they are going to manage the sponsor duties. So let's say, for example, I start a company and I'm a British person, but I need somebody else as well to look after my HR system. So I'll appoint a HR manager. Does the HR manager able to communicate well? Is he aware about his duties and responsibilities as a sponsor? Is he able to manage the right to work checks? If, let's say, for DBS, CQC ratings, or whatever kind of industry you're into, you need to understand what is the requirement of the business for the license. It's not always about if you know English, you'll get the license. You need to able to communicate to the home office. This is my company. This is how we are earning money. This is how we are going to, make sure the sponsor duties are met. And this is how we are going to run the firm. Authorizing officer, I think, is the whole and sole reason the companies are getting the license refused.
So are the companies not assigning anyone, or they're assigning but they don't know their roles and responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you need an authorizing officer to get a sponsor license in the first place and go back to that pre-license compliance check and stuff like that. But the authorizing officers are not aware about the company, not aware about the duties. They don't even know how to do right to work checks. So I think that's what I have been set in the pre-license compliance check and I've seen with my own eyes.
Okay. So do you guys also train them? Do you have like a training thing?
Yes, exactly. So whenever we apply for the license, we give our clients packages that, let's not talk about numbers, but this is a package. We apply for the sponsor license and we can train. We cannot coach you. We cannot train you in the way that this is what you have to say. We can prepare you.
Based on the guidelines from the government.
Based on the guidelines, because people expect us that, okay, home office asks you, how do you monitor visa? They ask us, what should I say? No, you tell me what is your plan. I can tell you that how to frame it well. I cannot coach or train you, and maybe, I can't jeopardize the company and my situation in this. I can tell you that, okay, if you're going to do this way, and if your way is wrong, I can tell you the right way. I'll ask you to prepare those sorts of documentation and then present it to the home office. Rather than just coaching you or training you for the sake of getting the license, it's not right. It's not ethical.
So how do employers assign or recruit authorizing officer? So do they also have to advertise on, again, say LinkedIn or Indeed saying, looking for authorizing officer and then describing the roles and responsibilities?
No, it has not happened like that before, because authorizing officer is the senior-most person in the company who looks after the HR processes. 99.99% of the time is the director as well of the company.
Okay.
But there are few directors who say we don't have enough time. We cannot overlook at your duties and responsibilities. So they in turn would hire a HR manager for the same.
Okay.
Authorizing officer is just for the sake of license, but HR manager will look at the overall approach of a sponsor license. So they might find a HR manager of the director, maybe have got multiple businesses, because it is important for you to justify if you have got multiple businesses and you're the authorizing officer of all those companies, how you're able to manage all the 4 in the same time. So you can hire a HR manager who can overlook all the, sponsor duties, responsibilities, the sponsorship management system. And I think that would be a great task.
Okay, thanks, Amil. So moving to the next one. So due to the recent changes which were made on 22nd of July, we know the most impacted industry was hospitality, say construction, and even IT. So in today's scenario, based on what you were seeing, is it still possible for hospitality, IT, construction companies to get a sponsor's license in the current situation?
See, before also, even the rules were completely different before 22nd of July. Let's say if I'm working with a restaurant, not all the time they used to ask me that they want to hire a chef. There was a time where they actually wanted to hire a payroll manager. I'm talking about a restaurant. Or they wanted to hire a business development manager. So if your company at this point of time, irrespective of the industry, has got a vacancy for those particular roles, there is no stoppage for that from the home office. So being a restaurant, you can still hire an account manager. You can still hire someone from like a financial advisor or a business development manager for that sense. So you don't always need to hire a chef. So I think it's not as per the industries. I think the roles have affected a lot. But still, we had a lot of like takeaways and restaurants and all those sorts of people. And they tell us we don't need a chef. Either they hire somebody who's already here on a skilled worker visa who wants to switch, or maybe they hire somebody on a graduate route, or maybe locally for that regards. Yeah.
Okay. What do you have to say, like for small businesses, again in hospitality or construction, what is the best strategy to improve their chances of approval because of so many rejections that you have seen?
See, I have enough talk about the genuineness, but how the genuineness would come. Do you have credible contracts? Let's say if we talk about construction industry, okay? So if you are building something, if you are into selling of those construction materials, do you have a client contract? How much money do you have in your business account? Are you able to justify to the home office that actually this amount of money will suffice a skilled worker salary? Now, you won't believe, Sarika. I have seen so many refusal letter. Client comes to us and give it to us. They actually make a mini account statement on your refusal letter and say that you do not have enough money to hire a skilled worker. And I'm talking about yesterday. So one of the client who came to us, the license was refused. They got a 6 months of cooling off period. When I saw the refusal letter, they had those small, like a mini bank statement. Home office has mentioned this much has come in, this much has gone out. This is your profit. Your company is in loss. How are you going to manage the skilled worker?
Yeah.
So that is actually happening. Home office is actually being very transparent about the reasons rather than being that, no, you are not suitable for the license. They're actually coming out and they are saying that how you do not qualify for a license.
Okay. What about hospitality industry? How can they do it? Say small, fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
How will they show that they have future clients coming or contracts coming? They don't get that, right?
That's a good question. When we are talking about a restaurant, when we are talking about a franchisee who have just recently started or trading, obviously you won't be having a client contract or something, because there are few companies who get catering contracts. That's not a problem. But if you don't have those catering contracts, if you're heavily reliant on the people walking into your store,
correct,
you can build up your business. You can show it to the home office, not just being greedy about that my visa is expiring and maybe, I just want to apply for the sake of sponsor license and stuff like that. Build up your company. Because if you don't have your business, if you're not financially sound in front of the home office, and your business statement is not that great, anyways, you're not going to get the license. So rushing doesn't make any sense. Build up your company, build up your business, get enough clientele, make your business a success story first, and then apply for the license.
Yeah. So for them, then again, from day one, if you're not trading, then maybe it will be difficult for them, right?
Yes.
So at least for a couple of months till the time you don't show evidence of people coming in and dining with you and the money you have earned, it'll be difficult. Yeah. So
or maybe the investment from the director or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could even work. That will work. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So what is your advice for companies that urgently need staff but are afraid to apply due to high rejection rates? Yeah.
So it depends why they're afraid. Are they afraid because of the money? Are they afraid because they think it's a big amount of risk for them? Or are they afraid that they are not able to understand how the duties work? Because I have come across, daily basis, even you used to get inquiries that client come to you and they are completely unaware that how the sponsor license work. So first we need to identify the problem. If you're coming to us, irrespective of the industry, my first question is this: why do you want to apply for a license? So that is my foremost question. And then after that, if they are like, no, Amil, we are not sure, should we get into that? Will we get into any trouble? What kind of trouble are you talking about? Is it taxation issues? Do you don't have enough money? Because whatever amount of client we get in, we just do not just sign the contract and just make our client. We need to nurture them. Okay. If you're coming from scratch, I give them advice. These are the documentations you need. Get the PAY, maybe PAY certificate, get the VAT or the office agreement or this or that. Nurture your business and then come to us. I can give you the checklist. You can obviously work with me. But at the end of the day, if your business is not at that point of level, then it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, just a question, Amil. So the day when somebody applies for a sponsor license, do you not think Home Office is going to challenge them by asking, why are you even applying for a sponsor license? Because the kind of business you are in, you can find a lot of local candidates itself.
Yeah.
Because applying for a sponsor license means you have already in mind that you will be hiring an immigrant, right?
Right.
So do they not kind of challenge them looking at the business they are in?
See, whenever any client come to us, I just ask them that where are you actually looking to hire from? Okay, let's say they want to hire a finance manager. Okay, have you even tried, hiring someone from locally? And
Correct.
they come to me, they are like, we have advertised on our website, maybe they have advertised on Indeed or LinkedIn, and the amount of people they get, because the most common thing I used to hear from my client, and I still hear, is that for local people we have to pay them much more premium as compared to the local one. For example, a migrant would be happily taking lower salary just to get a sponsorship, but somebody who's local British over here, they would obviously ask as far as their skills and the the knowledge is concerned. So they are like, no, we want to hire on a lesser salary. But now I think that thing is also changing
Because of the higher salary.
because of the higher salary. So I just tell them, if you really want to hire a migrant, then you need to show efforts to the Home Office that you have advertised on LinkedIn, take all the CVs, get all the informations for that regards. And the Home Office, if come for a pre-license compliance, just show it to them.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to follow the process religiously, I think you will be still in good books. So that's the most important part. Yeah.
I think today they are going to face bigger challenge, because if you look at the job market, is quite slow at the moment.
Yeah.
For one vacant role, there are more than 300 or 400 people applying for it.
Yeah.
And if they have already tried it, for again example of finance manager, you're saying,
Yeah.
I think it will be very difficult for them to justify that they couldn't find any local candidate out of 300 people.
Right.
So they are going to be challenged a lot. And I think Home Office is doing their due diligence and asking the evidence and proof around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. So moving to the next question. What documents and evidence are mandatory to avoid any rejection?
Oh, mandatory. I think it depends from industries to industry. Let's say if you're applying as a hospitality company or as a restaurant and you're selling foods and alcohol, you need to provide food hygiene ratings or scores on the doors.
Yes.
You need to submit your premises license, which covers your alcohol license as well. You need to have your lease agreement in place if you have a property, if you're selling from. And the other documentations are very basic, like employer's liability insurance, VAT, or maybe office agreement if you don't have a lease agreement, a registration with the PAYE. I think PAYE is one of the most important documentations, because Home Office actually asks you on the form, if you don't have a PAYE, then what is the reason for that?
Okay.
So I think that's the first documents I always advise my clients to apply, irrespective of the business, money, or wherever you stand.
Okay. And insurance as well. I read somewhere.
Employer's liability insurance. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about rejection, Amil. So what happens after a sponsor license rejection? Can a company reapply, and how soon?
So whatever rejection letter, refusal letter we have seen at this point of time, in the refusal letter, the Home Office mentions the reason that why the license is refused and whether they are subject to cooling off period or not. Most of the times I have seen the company face a 6 months of cooling off period, depending on the reason of the license refusal. We have also seen refusal letter where the client actually did not get any refusal, any cooling off period, and we have applied the next week.
Okay. So will it be written in the refusal letter itself?
Yes.
Okay. So for few people can reapply again if, say, some of the documents are missing.
Exactly.
So they may ask for it.
Maybe the application is invalid. They have not submitted right set of documentations. But I think whatever we have seen for 6 months of refusal of cooling off period, maybe you do not meet the HR compliance, you don't have a robust HR system, you don't have enough amount in your bank. So Home Office wants to make sure that the circumstances change within this point of time.
Okay. Thank you. What internal systems and HR practices must a company have before applying for a license?
I think number one would be record keeping duties.
Right. Yes.
And management duties are the most important thing. So you need to make sure that you're managing your sponsorship management system, SMS, really well. You need to have an authorizing officer and a level 1 user who's allowed to access your sponsorship management system, who wants to make sure that the visa monitoring is done right. They have to make sure that you are assigning the COS to the right candidate. You have a proper HR system where you're monitoring the visa expiry dates. You have a reminder set for the same. You do the online right to work check before the employment begins. Proper leaves, holiday requests, absences, those are the must.
Yeah. So those checks needs to be done for all the kinds of employee, irrespective of whether they're immigrant or non-immigrant, right? Even they are British, they need to check their valid ID or something just to make sure.
Yeah, see, at the end of the day, if you're having a company and you're having 10 employees, you wouldn't segregate between them.
Yeah.
If you have a process in place,
it will be for, yeah.
So the attendance would be for everyone.
Yeah, like right to work. How
exactly,
do you prove your
exactly.
passport?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we did talk a lot about, again, sponsor license today. So I'm just going to ask you, I know this because I'm reading the news and it's all over the BBC or the news article. So compliance visits are increasing. We know about it.
Yeah.
So what does the Home Office look for during the audit?
So there are two types of audits. Okay. We can have another separate podcast on that, which we would be having. So it's a pre-license and post-license. Before, post-license was hardly 1 or 2%, but now I have seen the increase huge. There is a significant increase, I would say, in post-license compliance. So the Home Office is actually scrutinizing very deeply. Okay. They want to see that from company registration to the changes of shares to the changes of address, how you are actually managing your SMS, your sponsorship management system. Are you actually monitoring the visa expiry dates? And the most important, the biggest red flag, are you actually updating the SMS if there are any changes?
Right, okay.
10 working days if there is any change in the employee, 20 working days if there are any changes with the company, and maybe there is change of ownership, then you need to apply for a new license. All those small bits you need to understand and then make sure, because sponsor license, I think getting is easy, but maintaining is really very difficult.
Okay.
So there's a reason the pre-license compliance check are also happening, and only the genuine, I won't say the word genuine, but only the responsible companies are getting the license at this point of time.
Okay. Amil, can you give an example of what kind of updates needs to be made on SMS? So say if someone is leaving the company, does it need to be updated?
Yeah.
What needs to be updated there? Just give some example, please.
So I'll give you something basics. Okay. Let's say if there is change of address of your premises. Okay. You're changing the address. If an employee is leaving, you need to report it to the Home Office within 10 working days. But if your premises is changing, or maybe you have taken a new address, you need to report it within 20 working days and send the lease agreement or the office rental agreement to the Home Office and get it approved.
Okay.
So maybe you want to change your authorizing officer. You need to change the details. You need to change your legal representative or your level 1 user. I think from smallest to biggest, everything needs to be mentioned on the SMS. Okay. If you leave anything, if you feel that, I don't think so, it is very small. As per the new guidance from November 2025, you need to actually inform the Home Office about the hybrid and remote working as well. That how many people are coming to the offices, where are they working from, if they're working from a client location, give them the client location, when the contract starts, when the contract ends. Because if there is a post-license compliance and the Home Office sees that Amil is not working in Sarika's company, and obviously Sarika has not updated the SMS, so then both Amil and Sarika is in trouble.
Right. Okay. So it needs to be done for all the employees, not only immigrants.
No, it's only for the immigrants.
Immigrants.
Only for the immigrants. Only for the migrant workers.
Okay,
yes.
Great. All right. Thank you, Amil. That's all I want to discuss today. Any final tips for people, the company, or people who are watching this video? Any tips from your side?
I think as a business immigration law firm, that's where I position ourselves, a lot of people call us, email us, and do a lot of inquiries. But I always tell them, you need to make sure that you're aware about the situation. If you're not aware about it, let's work together. Let's understand where do you stand at this point of time. Whether you are at the stage of applying for a license or you need mock audit services, obviously the process would be completely different for pre-license and post-license. But you need to make sure that the management of the SMS is done really well. So manage your SMS well, do the right to work checks on time, have pension in place, opt in, opt out. You need to know all these small things.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with my audience. And I hope this is useful for all the guys who had been inquiring about the sponsor license. Thank you, Amil. And we will see you in the next podcast soon.
Thank you, Sarika.